Welcome to Born or Made, the podcast that dives deep into the heart of success and identity. Are the traits that define us as leaders ingrained from birth, or are they carved out throughout our experiences? Join your host, Anne-Marie LaTulip, as we ask these questions to some of the most insightful and inspiring entrepreneurs of our time. Each episode, we explore their journeys, the decisions that shaped them, and how they've molded their own paths to success. So whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or simply curious about the interplay between nature and nurture in professional growth, you're in the right place. Get ready for compelling stories, transformative insights, and a new perspective on what it really takes to make it in the world of entrepreneurship.
All right, welcome back to the Born or Made podcast. I'm Anne-Marie LaTulip, your host, and this is a podcast where we try to decide, are we born entrepreneurs or are we sort of molded or made into entrepreneurs based on different decisions and choices we're faced with in life? So with me today, I have Heidi Wilde. Heidi Wilde, I've met a few years ago when she was doing some network marketing, but since then she's been doing some really, really cool things that I can't wait to ask her about. But Heidi, I sort of know you and what you're doing, but for anyone that doesn't know you, why don't you spend a little bit of time talking about what you've done and who you are?
Oh, certainly. Well, thank you. And thank you very much for having me here. And Anne-Marie, that's such a good question about whether you're born or is it intrinsic on the entrepreneur. So we'll get into that. So a little bit about me. I am first a mom and I have two grown children. They're both married and I have a grandson and a grandpop right now.
How
And
cute.
my family is awesome and is high priority in my life. I also am a corporate dropout, I would say. So I was in corporate most of my life, where I was very fortunate to have a tremendous career at AT&T, which started out as Cell One Boston, Singular, AT&T, the whole cell phone wireless
I
business. So
remember.
in the 80s, I came into that. So I was a real one of the beginners when cell phones were like as big as your coffee table, and nobody had cell phones. So that was, a thing. And then, of course, cell phones, like a lot of things with technology, are here to stay. So I like to be a trailblazer, and at the beginning of new things, I was in Clubhouse when that first launched. I was in a wellness company before that launched, all about the gut and the brain and the connection between the two, where, that's fairly new science in the last 10 or 15 years. So, and then here we are, I'm in AI, a whole platform, which we can talk about. So that is, again, at the very beginning stages. So that's a little bit about me,
Ah,
and I'm
well,
excited.
thank you for sharing that. So I have a bunch of things I want to ask you, but before we go any further, I would like to ask you, are you born or made?
I believe that, and I'll only speak for me. I believe I was very influenced to be an entrepreneur, to be in a place where, be your own self and shine your light. I was fortunate to be born to really amazing parents, my mom and dad. And before I was born, my mother got afflicted with polio in the 50s.
Oh,
And she was in an iron lung for a year. And then they said she couldn't have children. And lo and behold, she said, "Yes, I can. I'm going to have a child." And she had me after she was in a wheelchair. So
wow.
all of my life, my mom was in a wheelchair. Before that, she was a school teacher, my dad, an engineer. And when she became not able to walk, she wasn't going to let that stop her from living as full of life as possible. So what did she do? Well, she was very, very involved in Mensa, which is a
High
group.
IQ, right? High,
Yeah,
high,
high IQ.
yeah.
And she was actually nominated the founder of Boston Mensa. And way back, I used to go to, in her wheelchair, we would go to Harvard Square, and I would help her when I was about 8 or 9 years old, go to the Cronin's restaurant on Mount Auburn Street and go to these meetings in Mensa. And she ended up eventually learning music, and she became a music teacher. She taught guitar out of our house to all the neighborhood kids after school. And she had this business. I also learned guitar from her. That was one of, I got a guitar as my second grade birthday present. And she charged me a quarter for lessons because she was very value driven and very wanted to instill hard work and good values. And she felt that if I didn't pay, I wouldn't appreciate. So part of my allowance went to my guitar lessons. And what she did was um, with that money that she earned, she and my dad traveled. And my mother was very involved with the international student program at MIT and Harvard. So we always had someone in our basement living from from the MIT and Harvard international program, and from Italy and France. And my mother was very into cultural, opening us up to all kinds of different things. I learned transcendental meditation when I was like 9. People were meditating in my house. So I was exposed. She wrote tarot cards. She did all kinds of things that, in the 60s and 70s, it wasn't really exposed to a lot of people, but I had parents and mom. And so when a lot of things, one thing that she also taught me that, I don't know if it's entrepreneurial or not, but it's a big part of where I come from, is she taught me to not judge people for how they looked, because she had Black friends and gay friends, and in the 60s and 70s when that wasn't even like popular.
Mm.
And she taught me that if I didn't look at somebody, if I judged them or saw them as a little bit different and wouldn't connect with them or want to get to know them, it would probably be me missing out on what could be my best friend. So I always looked at everyone with that open heart. And I believe she was very influential and demonstrative on that. She had a lot of diversity, and we were exposed to a lot of that.
And that's a great lesson, but I'm sure that that's what she wanted to experience, where she was a little different, right? She wanted everyone to be uh, inclusive of her as well. So I'm sure that was part of why she instilled that in you, right?
Anne Marie, we'd be in the grocery store, and little children would be looking at her wheelchair and whispering to their mother, "What is that?" And usually their mother, unless they were their father.
Yeah.
And the parent would hush the child, "Shh, shh." And my mother would say, "Would you mind if I shared why I'm sitting in this wheelchair with your child? They're curious, and I don't mind telling them." So, she wanted to educate too, and to, be open about that. And the other thing she learned to do is drive with hand controls in the car. So even though she could not walk, she could still drive a car. She pulled herself from the wheelchair onto a board into the driver's seat. And, she navigated life, even though she was dealt this, they got the flu back in the 50s. There wasn't a polio vaccine. So many people got inflicted in certain ways. So that was, I believe, you asked me the entrepreneurial spirit, and I believe she really instilled that by showing me how she became an entrepreneur and how she overcame an adversity in her life.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. In that situation, it might have been maybe a little bit of both, because when you think, at least I can only relate myself, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, by being born entrepreneurs. I mean, I went through experiences where, like, I just couldn't keep a job. I didn't want to listen to my boss. You know what I mean? I always had better ideas than my boss. And so that at that time, I felt like, oh, something's wrong with me. But now when looking back, I realized that was just because I was inherently born with this entrepreneurial spirit that I need to do something on my own and be my own boss. So for you, though, you had a good job for many years, right? So never really faced that struggle of being conformed or too structured, or.
Well, when I started AT&T, it was Selwa in Boston, and I went in as a temp 1 day a week, way back when there were a lot of temp jobs.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, my daughter was 1 at the time, and I wanted to get out of the house. And when I went in there, they wanted me to work full time, and I said no. I said, however, if you put a phone in my house, and this was when everyone had landlines, and you put a second phone in, and you pay me I will telemarket for you, and you don't have to pay me unless I sell something. I never sold a thing in my life. And I said, I will do this. I'll call, appointments. And so I generated leads for 5 years, working at home, going in the office one day a week when this wasn't even a thing, working at home. However, I saw an opportunity and said, I will telemarket for you. And I did that successfully for 5 years until my daughter was 5, my son was 3, and then I went full time. And I will also say within AT&T, within the whole corporate structure, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and my management, for the most part, were very open to letting me fly, letting me go. Like if I had an idea and I saw a business, and the way that our company worked, we were by region. So New England region was allowed to do their own thing and kind of like had their own cost center. So I had a lot of VPs that were very forward thinking and let us be trailblazers. So, for example, although I had a role on the org chart, they let me take that role and do something else with it. So for about 10 years, I went over to I was in corporate for 20 years on the business side. And then I went over to the retail side, which I'm like, what's retail? But I went over to retail and I had all the relationships with corporate. So they wanted me to bridge the gap between corporate and retail. So I ran a back to school program, like an employee business program. And it was a marketing program, but it really wasn't anything that any other market was doing. So New England was always kind of doing these really cool things. And the company would call us to say, what are you doing? And how are you doing it so successfully? And a lot of those projects, I have to say, I was behind.
So that is definitely an entrepreneurial mindset for sure.
They let me run with it. So that's the thing. I had really good, strong management that weren't afraid to let their people fly and run with things. Because a lot of managers don't have that confidence or security.
Oh,
And I was lucky. The last 5 years of my career there, we were working with FirstNet. It's a first responder preemptive service, priority service, so that after 9/11, the government came in and said one of the carriers had to have a priority service. So you would call 911 or something, and your call would go through. The first responders would have priority because when 9/11 happened, no one could make a phone call. So when the government came in and AT&T won this contract, we had sales reps going out to talk to police and fire departments. They didn't have time to talk to salespeople. They were busy saving their communities' lives, or doing what they were doing. So I had an idea. Why don't we do webinar? Why don't we have a webinar series so that police, fire, hospitals, emergency personnel can jump on and learn what FirstNet is without having sales reps banging on their door. And so for 5 years, we had the Wilde webinars. We had this webinar series. And one of the things that was so amazing was that I worked with the Colonel of the State Police of Connecticut. He was retired. He was a commanding officer at Sandy Hook. And we went through school safety, and he went through that day in December 2012, that terrible day, over and again with police chiefs, fire chiefs, emergency personnel, school administrators, to show what happened that day and how we can make our schools safer, and how FirstNet can help with that. So I did several, probably 100 of those series webinars that I really felt good that we were making a difference. And that wasn't on my job description. I just saw it and said, hey, why don't we? And my manager at the time said, go for it. So I was really fortunate to have good managers.
Yeah, you really were, because that's not typical, right, in corporate America, right? And I think it's interesting how even though you were in a corporate job, which was structured, right, that you still had that entrepreneurial mind to go and start all of these extra little projects, right? So how did you transition then from AT&T in that corporate world to it was network marketing at first, or that was
About 3 years prior, it was 2017, and I was looking at when I was gonna leave, and I didn't know, when do I leave? When is this a good time to exit? And, I felt like I would know when I know. However, I wanted to build something on the side before I left so I could, kind of bridge over. And a friend of mine came to me with this company that was opening that was all about herbs and gut brain access, mental health. It was a mental wellness company. And at the time, you know, it wasn't even launched. It was before it launched because it launched in January of 2018. But in the fall of 17, I jumped in. I was like, I have this gut feeling, that you go with the gut. Everything's
And
about
that's what it was about, the gut health, which is funny.
so
Right.
is. So I went in and I did that. During my vacations and time off and weekends, I would go to wellness events and I would promote these supplements, which I'm still drinking and eating supplements that, I believe in. I love the scientists and the whole science behind it. However, I did that for 7 years. And, that's building a team and building a customer base and, juggling the corporate job, by the way, which was a lot. However, I knew that, and it was kind of my long term goal. So after about 7 years, it was last summer, I was stepping away from it in the last couple of years. But last summer, I decided, and I was kind of putting the stake in the ground that I wasn't going to do this anymore as a building a business. I love the products, love the company, love all the people there. However, it really didn't feel like it was in alignment with it anymore. And as soon as you let go of things, other things come in.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how the AI platform came to me. And my friend who I had met in the wellness company came to me and said, "Hey, one of my best friends is opening an AI business." And I said, "Do I really want to do something else at this stage of life?" And I had left AT&T in December 2020. They made an offer to some those that wanted to leave. I was 33 years in, so I had good retirement benefits. And it was kind of like, if you don't leave by December 2020, you're going to lose this piece of your health benefit, whatever it was. So kind of helped me make the decision. So I left in December 2020 and I was like a light switch on the wall. Everyone, and we have a lot of longevity in that company. So a lot of people stayed for a long time. So when last summer came and I was looking at this, I asked for a message. I'm very spiritual. And I said, "Show me a sign. Make it so clear to me." So I asked my son in law, there were a couple things that happened. I asked my son in law, "What do you think of AI?" And I respect my son in law. He has a clinic over in India that him and his uncle built for prenatal women and children. It's a mental health clinic. So he said, "Heidi, I just submitted a grant for $800,000 for AI." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "What's AI going to do for your clinic?" And he said, "Well, it's going to help with the treatment plans. It's going to help with medical, et cetera." And I was like, "Okay, thank you, universe, God, for showing me that." And then I was also following a woman, Jessie Lee Ward, who is somebody that I had followed very closely for many years when I was in corporate and I didn't know about network marketing.
Mhm.
And she was doing a recruiting workshop, a boot camp, 5 days.
Okay.
And I was getting the nudge inside to go to that boot camp. And I'm like, I was confused because I'm leaving my wellness company. I'm not recruiting. Like, what am I doing going to this? But I got the really strong message to go. And so I went along with 5,000 other network marketers, and it was $17. It wasn't a price thing. It was like, why am I doing recruiting? Little did I know, in a week and a half later, I'd be introduced to this AI thing that I would now be, inviting people in to join. So, and then Jessie had since passed, and I spent 6 days. She gave us 6 days, and her boot camp. She had never done a boot camp before, and she poured into us in those 6 days. And I got to really know her and her heart, and she taught us everything that she had learned in that business. She's been very successful, and it was amazing. And I was glad that I, experienced that. And again, it helped me with what's going to happen. It's so funny because I don't know if you agree with this, Anne Marie, but it seems like everything we do leads on to the next thing.
Absolutely.
So and you don't know sometimes why you do things at the time, and then it's like, aha, so that's why.
I'm also very spiritual. I totally believe in Jesus Christ. I am 100% believe that he has a hand in everything I do. But you're absolutely right. And even when we think something's failed or not, going in our favor, there's a reason for it. That's what I believe. So that's such a cool story. So what is it? Let me ask you, for anybody that might be listening that doesn't know what network marketing we can explain it for you. Network marketing is where you're not only selling the product, but you're actually hiring or recruiting, as Heidi said, people to sell it as well. And then do you want to explain that maybe a little bit better than I can?
Yeah, you explain. So network marketing is a very growing field, and there's a lot of different types. There's many, many companies out there and many, many comp plans along with those companies. And essentially what you're doing is you're promoting a product or a service, and you're inviting people to buy that product or service, and you're getting paid for it every month. It's residual. So every time somebody gets an auto ship of their supplements, or enrolls in their subscription and their service, whatever, you get commission based on whatever the comp plan is. And in addition to that, just like corporate, because in my company it was structured this way, a lot of people don't see this, but in AT&T, you have the VP, then you have the directors, then you have the sales managers, and then the sales reps, and they all roll up to each other, right? And they're all on a compensation structure based on performance. So they call that's like the pyramid, right? And network marketing is when you recruit or roll or invite someone in to join your company. Whatever they do when they join your team and they sell product or service, you get paid on that based on volume, based on commission, based on whatever it is. Maybe you rank, maybe you're based on how often you rank and what rank you're at. And maybe you have incentives like trips or prizes and things like that. So
Right.
network marketing, and I don't know the stats offhand, but I do know that today there's a lot of people that are looking for a lot of different income opportunities and income streams, right? Because you really can't depend on corporate America anymore. They're down. AT&T told us several years ago they were going to go very lean. They were going to, be going from wherever they were to like a third of the employee base. And I saw that over the course of years. That a lot of my friends had gotten surplus and downsized, and departments going away and whatnot. So, it's good to have other income opportunities. And there's so many different ones out there in addition to network marketing. That is one. The affiliate piece too, which a lot of companies have that both. The company I'm in now, you can do an affiliate piece, and this is with the AI. It's very unusual to have an AI company that has the structure. However, the owner went to market in November 11th, 2023, it launched, and he felt that he wasn't going to go in this model, but he did, because when you have a community of people that are together and they're training each other and they're looking at the tool and seeing how we are all using the tool and how we're all, being more productive and saving time and training each other, it's a much more inclusive model than sticking it online and saying, good luck. Here's a video. Have a good day. So
Interesting to me though, because I'm wondering, like, financially speaking, had he just stuck with the SaaS, software as a service, for anyone that doesn't know what that term is, and created an empire over it with that platform versus the network marketing route that he's doing and having everyone else sort of sell it as a service. I wonder what was that decision like for him? I wonder. Do you know?
I do.
Okay.
So there's a lot behind it. The gentleman who created Rubi, and the whole thing behind it, is a very huge advocate and proponent to stop human trafficking, sex and human trafficking.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's a big mission behind this. So 10% of the proceeds of the company, there's a whole initiative he talks about it every single time he can, that this company called Selfless, this program, and it's consumable. It's not just give the money. He's done a lot of, it's a very different way of giving. Number one, he went to 80 so companies and he wanted to see their taxes and he wanted to see how they're spending the money and where the money is going. And he ended up with, a handful of them over those 80 companies. And now the people that are involved get to vote. We vote on where the money would go, and it's very transparent, and it's on a consumable product. Because there's a lot of people out there that are fundraising, but that's not stopping the problem. So there's many levels to this passion that he has. And, it's stopping the perpetrators. It's stopping a lot of things behind it. So which I can share more with you or any of your audience. If you'd like to hear more, I have a YouTube channel that has all kinds of information on Selfless. And that's one of the really important things that's driving me to this mission. Is it's not just about an AI program. Yes, it's a great program. However, there's a whole big thing behind it that is world impacting in a positive way.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then let's go back a little bit. When you were with Amari, if you don't mind my asking, how did you do in terms of recruiting? Were you able to build a good team, and was it successful for you?
Well, success is defined in different ways.
That is very true. Good point.
So I feel it was very successful in a lot of ways. Did I build a massive team? No. And I believe that, again, being the spiritual place that I am, I don't believe that I was supposed to build a natural, or I would have. Like, I had a lot of people in my organization, love the products. A lot of people come in, they say they want to build. And again, this is a price point that's a little higher. So, as opposed to what I'm in now, which is a lot lower in the price point. So, and a lot of people, when you talk about wellness, although people feel that they want to get well, sometimes I wanted them to get well more than they wanted to get well, if you can understand. So, however, I learned so many amazing things, skills. I learned leadership, where I was a leader in AT&T. However, you don't sell, you don't work there. This is when you're an entrepreneur, when you're in network marketing, it's a volunteer army. So you want to motivate these people. And a lot of the people that came in did well. However, if it wasn't fast enough, people would drop off. But what I did learn is a lot of the skills that I'm now bringing into my next venture, as well as the amazing community and the people that come and go, because my leader there is actually the top distributor, the guy who, my friend enrolled me, and then a few years later she stepped away to do some energy stuff and do her own thing. So now I rolled up to the top guy, the guy who's head of the whole field.
Wow.
And I was so lucky to be mentored by him. He's a really good friend of mine. He is the heart of Utah. I mean, so amazing. And so I was very fortunate to learn so much and be around so many wonderful, and I still am. I'm still in the company. I'm not actively, and my energy isn't focused on that as much, but I'm still involved with it. I haven't cut off or quit at this time.
Yeah. So compare that then now to being with Rubi. Do you find it easier to recruit with this AI versus wellness? Because it's such a different field.
So it's also a different price point.
Like you said,
yes. The answer is yes. So with Rubi, first of all, AI is it's a very interesting topic, because a lot of people fear it right now, or they don't know what it is. Some people love it. Some people, they know what the chat is. Chat's been out. This is chat on steroids. This is chat. So what I find is when people see Rubi, within less than 5 minutes, they want in, right?
Yeah.
And most of the people say, I can easily sell this, because the price points as a distributor start at $15 a month. and they're $25 and $50 right now. We're going to have $100 plan in the future probably, but right now, and that's going to have like a lot of the enchiladas. So this thing has 150 pre-built modules. It has the ability to talk directly to your audience and the voice and the tone. It has the ability to detect and prevent plagiarism. It has a ghost rewrite feature, so you can rewrite your content multiple times. There's marketing, SEO, business, there's travel, there's wellness. You can create menu plans and travel itineraries and personal training, fitness, weight loss strategies.
Wow.
It can write your courses and blogs and emails, and it can help you with, and that's version 1. In 3 weeks, we have version 2 coming in the end of April, beginning of May, where we're going to have video. We're going to have, right now it has images too. You can create amazing stunning images in Midjourney and DALL-E 3. And in the future, it's going to have music. It's going to have text to talk and video and like so much. And
basically, it's like an AI platform all in one.
it's a one-stop shop, exactly. But when you had asked me how easy this is, like, I believe everything is energy, everything is vibration, everything is frequency, right? So when I get excited about something and I'm sharing this and I'm showing people and I'm asking them a lot of questions and helping them with whatever it is they're doing. A lot of people are doing their own business, and maybe they're a publisher, author and a publisher, but they don't know how to market their book. They don't know how to do I have friends in the Rubi that are publishers or that help other authors. And so what I also say about AI is that a lot of people think it takes away your creativity, and I'm here to tell you it enhances it. It helps you with words. It helps you. My creativity is flowing like crazy.
I love it. I haven't experienced Ruby. I love Chat GPT and Claude. They're like my best friends. But you're right. It's not, I think a lot of people look at it like you're just putting in 2 words and letting it do the rest. And I know for me, when I do it, I almost write everything. I just ask him to make it a little bit better. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're not putting any thought into any,
There's a couple things. First of all, we're going to have like several different chats, Claude, ChatGPT, a lot of that. And one thing that people want to know is who owns the content. So you want to make sure whatever platform you're using, you look at the terms and conditions and see. I'm just going to say that. And the other piece, what you said is, it's the human piece of it, because AI is AI. So you want to make sure that it's accurate and it's also authentic to how you sound. And what Rubi does is help you do that in very many ways. And it saves you so much time and so much it improves your productivity tempo. We also have a whole education module. I have a friend who's in Rubi, who's an educator and was principal of the school, and she's helping write the modules for teachers, for students, homeschooling, because everyone learns differently. For people that might have special circumstances that teachers want to apply the guides or the curriculum to. So wrote so much.
So can you say like non-biased that there really is no other platform that is doing what Rubi is doing? Because I know there's like Jasper, and even ChatGPT can do pictures, I think, right? So is it truly like above those?
Here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to quote our owner, and he says Rubi is its own blue ocean, right? We're not here to compete with anybody. We're here what he's done is he's taking, and he continues to take the best of everything and put it in one platform. Because when you're in the flow, right? When you're in work and you're doing something and you have to stop and go to another platform, you're not in the zone. You stop the zone, you stop the flow. And in Rubi, you're going to be able to do everything under one roof, under one shop, in a very affordable price that's all over the world. We're in like 70 plus countries. We're in different languages. So you can do this all over the place. And
I love that. And, of course, we're going to get to how somebody can have access to Rubi, where they can go to find out more information. That'll all be in the show notes. But in terms of the discussion here, I want to ask more about I think a lot of people I think network marketing kind of has a bad rep to a lot of people. I don't know if you would agree with that. So I'm curious to know in network marketing, if you just sold the product, just sold Rubi, but didn't build, would you be, I don't want to use the term successful, would it be as lucrative as if you maybe didn't sell as much, but build a huge organization?
So the way our compensation in Ruby is working, it's structured. There's 8 different ways to get paid, and it's always talked about where you don't have to build a team. There's 7 ways to get paid if you don't build a team. You're only going to miss one of the 2 team pay compensation pieces, it's called. However, so yes, you can do this as an affiliate. For example, they call that affiliate marketing. You're not building a team. However, the way that I've been experiencing Ruby is, or the people that I'm attracting, is people take this and run. And you only need 2 people, by the way. In addition to you being active, it's a 2-leg binary. So you need 1 business builder or brand influencer on your left leg and 1 on your right leg at $15 a month. And that's it. You don't have to build. There's no structure. There's not, you need to be a bronze to be a gold or a silver, anything like that. It's all based on volume. And what I am finding with the people that are coming in is they're very low maintenance. Like there's not a lot of hand holding or pulling people along. And partly that was why learning when I was in this other piece. And I want to go back to something you said about the bias or the yucky feeling people have with network marketing. And I take responsibility for that because I was part of that. I used to throw up on people. I used to torture people and bother people and, say it's too much and, invite people in a spammy way. And I think it happens over time where you become more experienced and you learn. I learn. And the way that I'm presenting Ruby is this is, it either is, you either lean in or you don't. And I'm not married to any outcome here, and I truly believe that for $25 a month, you're going to find more value in Ruby than if you don't open it up and take a look at it, or $15 even, but that doesn't get you much. That's a taste. So I always encourage people, but the $25 plan. But in the meantime, I say that a lot of those were people like me that didn't know any better on how to, and it's not because I wasn't taught, because I did have good mentors in teaching about attraction marketing and all this. It takes time for me to learn that in my other companies. But with this, it's really different because you don't even have to say much to use.
It's because it's so hot right now, right? AI. I mean, I feel like we're early adapters even in this AI. I'd love to hear your thoughts about where you think AI is headed in the next 5 years. I mean, can you imagine how long is
I was in the
really a year?
I was in the cell phone business and I saw that technology and that moved really fast. Like you had to be on your toes in the company I was with and Verizon and T-Mobile, all of them, right? I think AI is going to be that much faster, like way faster. Now, there is some responsibility when it comes to AI. And this is something that our owner is very passionate about, to use AI ethically, to not use people's information, their face, whatever, without their approval or to mislead people in any way, and to be upfront, be transparent about it. And, way back before Ruby, I wrote a book about gut brain, about self-talk, the link between self-talk and gut health, and the surprising link. And I used chat and the AI program. And on the cover, I wrote, written by Heidi Wilde with assistance with AI in April of 2023, because I wanted to be transparent and say, and it was mostly me, and there were recipes and meditation, all these things that I put in there. But I feel like it's very important to talk about the responsibility piece around this and the ethics around it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Look at the thought leaders, like Mark Cuban had this, there's a lot. If you Google him, he talks all about AI. If Gary Vaynerchuk,
Mhm.
if you're not using AI every single day, whether you need it or not, you're going to be left behind.
Yep.
That's one of his quotes. So I believe that AI, like everything, a good tool in the good hands of good people will do really good things.
It absolutely will. But we kind of touched on this before. It can't replace the human connection. That's what it absolutely can't do. So we still have a little bit of an edge as humans.
Well,
Because a lot of people are afraid they're going to lose their jobs, or they're going to be phased out, or whatever it is. But as entrepreneurs specifically, because that's what this show is about, for us, my main business is relationships. They say, relationships are the currency of the wealthy. It's all about the relationship. So
I also want to say something on the losing the job thing, if I
yeah,
may.
please, yeah.
We talk about this too. It's not that AI is going to replace people. It's going to replace people that don't know AI. So if you know AI, you're going to be much more marketable.
That is
And,
such a good point. Yeah,
and I also like your point about AI plus humans equal magic.
that's exactly what I was trying to say.
Yes.
Right. So if you know how to use AI, but yet you still have that human connection to relate to others, then you can, yeah.
Well, I think the human connection will always be there. I know it will be for me as long as I'm in this human experience that, I love people and I always want to. One of the things I really enjoy is showing people, educating them and helping them see what's possible
Yep.
and helping them through I don't know much about AI. And then after they see Ruby, it's like, this is AI. This isn't what I thought AI was.
Yeah.
They have this envision of whatever they have an envision of, and it's really so different and
Yeah.
fun. It's
And
very fun.
and it was great to talk about network marketing today, because there's such a, well, actually not a huge difference, but affiliate. I think a lot of people might get affiliate marketing confused with network marketing. While it's sort of similar, it's both of them. I feel like, and correct me if you don't agree, I feel like, as we're talking about, entrepreneurship and people maybe who are leaving corporate jobs to start their own business, I feel like both affiliate marketing and network marketing are almost like gateway into entrepreneurship, where you can have your own business, but you don't have to come up with your own product. You don't have to develop systems, and everything's sort of in place for you with both. So it's an interesting story that was how you sort of made your journey to entrepreneurship. So
And a lot of people are offering affiliate components to what they do. So, coaches or programs, if people invite other people as the relationships, right? Because people trust other people and say, you got to go to Anne Marie's program because it is amazing. And then you might give 10, 20% to everybody who, you have an affiliate link for your program. So that's becoming popular.
yeah,
There's a lot of different creative ways. People are doing, the Amazon links and a lot of different, find these great products out there and promote them. And then, the manufacturer or Amazon or whoever are giving a piece of that. So again, back to with the program that I'm in, the whole platform is, it's called social proof, right? And when we have social proof, we have relationships, we trust each other, we have influencers that we follow, and they've done the homework, they've done the legwork, and the cool thing is you can try things and see what. I feel like I'm in a huge Marshall. When I left AT&T, I'm like, all right, I'm in a dressing room trying things on. What feels right? What's an
that
alignment? What color feels good? What size? What shape? What do I want to be now?
it helps if you're selling something that you're passionate about, which I see all over your socials. Like, it's all about the Ruby, which is, it's so cool that I got to talk to you about that, because you have a huge following.
Well,
on Facebook, TikTok. I've been watching you. So
Oh,
that all since Ruby, or was part of that from before? Or?
well, it's funny. I believe that all of what leads up is where I'm supposed to be now. So I've
Yeah,
been, I'm a networker and I enjoy community and I enjoy really building other people up and linking arms. And I believe we can do more together than individually. So, I don't know. People follow me, I follow them, and we connect. I believe like you in the place where it's spirituality, that it's all about energy and attraction, right? People are going to attract to us that are our vibe, our tribe,
exactly.
and then fall away. And it's okay. It's okay for people to fall away if people grow in and out of each other. We're all evolving here.
Yeah,
So we're all not going to be for each other for what.
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say too. On the other side of that, there's also the repelling of people that aren't our vibes, and that's okay. If you don't like me, that's okay. You don't have to like me. So it's all about that, exactly, that energy and vibe. I love that.
It's respecting the difference, though. It's not being mean or cruel.
Right.
It's blessing and releasing. It's like, you do you, and I
I'll
respect that.
be. Yeah, I love that. This has been fantastic. At the end of every episode, what I do is, of course, I'll let you, if there's anything else you want to say, but I always ask like a series of sort of rapid fire questions just to kind of stir things up. So if you're ready, I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Yeah.
All right. First, favorite book, not, I'm going to speak in terms of maybe inspiration in business.
The first one that comes to me is Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. I'm a big Abraham Hicks fan.
Okay. I have not heard of that one. Ask and what was it?
Ask and It Is Given.
Ask and it is given. Okay, perfect. Okay. If you can think back in your life, in your youth or your teens, whenever it was, where you made a decision, can you think of any decision that you made, had you made the other decision, that you'd be in a completely different place?
Many.
All right. What was, if you don't mind sharing, can you tell us what was the biggest one and when in your life was it?
Well, I would say all about the career and the college that I went to. So I followed my sister, who was at North Adams State College. I went there while she was in college and I was in high school. And I said, this is college. This is fun. I think I'll go here. And at the time, we really didn't select colleges the way kids do now.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was a psych soc double major. And I focused in on that because I didn't know that I was interested in marketing or business or anything. And I was very interested in psych and soc. And I actually worked in the field when I got out. And I was at Med State Hospital in Waltham. And I worked in the community residence program with chronic schizophrenics,
Oh,
helping
good.
them come out of the hospital because all the hospitals were closing into the community. And I worked in a community residence. I lived there 3 nights a week as a house manager in Woburn, Mass. I did that for 2 years. And it was a very rewarding experience. I learned a lot. I was, a new graduate of college, and the lowest paid, I think I made $13,000 a year, and I was the highest paid one in because social work and, that type of work wasn't paying a whole lot, but it was very rewarding to help these folks that were in institutions for more than half of their life. And so I don't know where my life would have been. And then that really moved me into the next thing, and eventually into Cell One as a temp.
Yeah, and like we talked about this earlier, that we truly believe that every path has led us to the next path. But of course, we're always faced with decisions, major life-changing decisions. And it's not necessarily that had we made the other decision, it would have been the wrong decision, because had we made that decision, it would have been the right decision, right? But we might be in a completely different place, right? So that's kind of that question. Okay, next question. If you could go back and tell your young self one thing, what would it be?
That don't listen to other people's opinions because they're coming from their own experiences and perceptions and fears. And nobody in the entire world knows what's right for you except for you, even if they think they do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I could have used that advice when I was younger. And lastly, do you like dogs? You have a grand
I
dog, so
love dogs.
you love dogs. What kind of dog is it?
I have a golden doodle grandpup, but I had a chocolate lab and a German Shepherd mix.
Oh,
Dogs all my life. So
yeah, I'm avid dog lover, so I have to ask everybody if they have dogs. So,
when my mom and dad had miniature dachshunds in my house growing
oh,
up.
cute. I have a corgi, so it's kind of like the same shape,
Uh-huh.
like the sausage type of dog. But all right, well, oh my God, Heidi, this has been great. So I'm going to give you an opportunity now. If you would like to tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, of course, it will be in the show notes as well. But yeah, feel free to let everybody know how they can reach you if they want more information.
Certainly. And thank you so much, Anne Marie, for taking the time and interviewing me and having me on your podcast. I'm very honored and humbled. So thank you.
Thank you.
So to connect with me, I'm on social media, Heidi Salzberg Wild on Facebook, on Instagram, Heidi J Wild. I have a YouTube channel. It's Heidi Wild with an E, Wild about AI. And I'm on TikTok as well. I'm all over the place. So my email is Heidi Wild 444. That's my favorite number, 444. At gmail.com. That's Heidi, HEIDI WILDE 444 at gmail.com. We do have a Facebook group called AI University that we show Ruby, we show demos, we have lives on there, we have lots of fun. So if you're interested in seeing Ruby on your own time, the recordings, then we'll invite you to the Facebook group. You just have to answer a couple questions, say who invited you, and we'll pop you right in. So lots of opportunity to learn about me and Ruby.
Awesome.
Anything
Awesome.
else you want to hear?
Well, thank you so much, Heidi, for being here today. This is a blast. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what happens with Ruby. I'll have to check it out myself.
Absolutely. Thank you.